Greetings, citizens of Nindie Nation, and thanks for tuning in to the Nindie Nation podcast, your weekly one-stop shop for everything independently developed for the Nintendo Switch. I'm Jeff, and this week on episode 42, we'll cover all of the new indie games releasing October 18th through the 24th. And after that, we'll work our way through the hundreds of Nindies currently on sale and find a few eShop gems you just can't pass up. For our audio listeners, don't forget you can catch each episode of the Nindie Nation complete with game trailers and direct feed video on our Nindie Nation YouTube channel, where you can also find the We Love Nindies and Let's Play Nindies video series. This week we dropped a brand new Let's Play for Ape Out, and the format is a bit different, so I'd love to hear your feedback, which you can pass along via Twitter at Nindie Nation or on the Nindie Nation Facebook page. And for all other things Nintendo related, check out our host, The Nintendo Village. Over at thenintendovillage.com, you'll find a constant stream of Nintendo-focused previews, features, and other weekly shows like Nintendo Nostalgia and Mouse Bites. Check out their site or their Twitter feed at Village Nintendo for more. With that stuff out of the way, you know what time it is. Before we let you loose on the exciting new releases, we gotta pick up the stragglers who didn't remember to let us know they had a new game releasing, which seems like kind of a big thing to miss. But nonetheless, here are the 7 games that released without warning since our last episode. Just Ignore Them is a spooky point-and-click adventure from Ratalaika for $5, with an 8-bit retro style about a boy who is scared of the dark and will point-and-click all the things to get away from the monsters that are chasing him. Rawr Off, that's R-A-W-R Off, by Yokai Games is a $3 budget party game for up to 4 players that claims to take over every social gathering and leaves us with Rawr Off, the fun has never been better. But to me, it looks like a lot of the fun has and will indeed be better. I don't know about that one. Based on the Shaun the Sheep franchise, which is a thing that I swear I've heard of before, Aardman Animations brings us Home Sheep Home Farmageddon Party Edition for $10. This silly puzzle party platformer includes co-op for up to 4 players and a suite of new party games. Simple yet varied, this game earns a few more points in my book for the heavy use of sheep puns. You could say this game isn't half bad. I wonder how many times I'm going to have to edit that. For the odd price of $7.43, developer Satbox delivers the 3D pixelated desktop rugby that looks like a copy-paste of a TUI's own Soccer Slammers, but, with rugby. The game claims to have an aesthetic taking place on a kid's school desk, but that looks like more of an excuse for their art style more so than it is a clever theme. A recent new Nindie developer, Game Paradiso, would like you to spend $30 on their new 5v5 team shooter Milk Choco, as in like milk chocolate. The graphics definitely don't justify the $30 price tag, and the characters look exactly like Ubisoft's Raving Rabbids. And frankly, I don't know what they think they're getting away with here. The game doesn't seem very well made, unique, or even remotely worth the asking price. Early Melon is also asking a lot from the Nindie Nation with their admittedly pretty cool-looking Roof Rage for $15. This 16-bit samurai/ninja fighter lets up to 8 players battle it out on various rooftops with a visual style that looks a lot like The Messenger. Now, that's a good thing, but overall, while Roof Rage may be worth considering, you'll probably see this one on sale before too long, so I would say hold off. With a much more reasonable price, our last Nindie straggler of the week is digitally delivered by a single developer named Emilios Mandolidis. Gleaner Heights is a 16-bit farming/dungeon crawling life simulator that looks a lot like Stardew Valley. There are a ton of moving pieces to this game, and it seems really well put together if you're looking for more of this type of game in your library. Asking only $8.99 seems much more reasonable for the amount of content and variety that Gleaner Heights has to offer. And you know, we always cover these games that just shadow drop out of nowhere, and as is the case this week, I usually see why they didn't invest more in marketing for each game. But never fear, Nation of Nindie. We're kicking off this week's new releases with an excellent, long-awaited title, and there's more where that came from. We've got a good week for you. These are the new releases for October 18th through the 24th. Let's do this thing! A Hat in Time, developed and published by the Humble Bundle Fund, is the perfect example of if an idea is good enough, more than one person will probably have it, as it released for PC right around the same time Mario Odyssey did for the Switch, and they are both games that are based on world-traveling 3D platformers with a cute mechanic around hats that can change the abilities of the main character. In A Hat in Time, you play as a spacefaring girl with a big top hat whose spaceship has run out of fuel. Stranded far from home, you must now run, jump, swing, swim, fly, and ride your way back home across multiple open-ended worlds, searching for all kinds of collectibles. And this has been one of my most anticipated indie games for 2 years running now, and I will definitely be playing it. A Hat in Time is $30 and is packed with a wonderful presentation, a ton to do, and endless unique worlds to explore. Tower Climb by 11 Sheep is a mobile port of a side-scrolling endless runner where you're a little dragon who has to run up these crumbling towers in like a spiral staircase fashion as you escape inevitable certain doom. Each level follows the tried-and-true mobile game formula of having 3 different star levels obtainable based on your score or performance. And at $6, it isn't a terrible price, but I think you can probably just pick a clone of this up on your phone for cheaper or free. Monaco Complete Edition by Pocket Watch Games is one of those titles that I swear I've heard of before, but I had never played. Upon some quick research, though, I found it is a very well-received PC game about co-op heists and had a lot of reviews touting it as some of the best multiplayer fun you could have on a couch or online. That's some high praise. So it is a heist game. You're plotting various thieving operations with stealth, lots of other planning and teamwork, and when it is time to make your escape, the top-down stealth game turns into a top-down twin-stick shooter as you are chased and running to make it out alive. Monaco Complete Edition is $14.99 and looks to be a great time. And on October 22nd, Idea Factory releases Mary Skelter 2, and this is a hardcore anime JRPG with more numbers and systems and abilities than you could probably ever learn in just a single playthrough. Now, I had never heard of this series before, but I guess I wasn't the only one because it hadn't come to Switch. And the good news, though, is if you pick up this title for $32, you'll not only get Mary Skelter 2, but you'll get the first title as well, so you can play through this colorful nightmare from the very beginning. PBA Pro Bowling also releases on October 22nd for $20 and is the official bowling game, licensed by the PBA, Brunswick, and a bunch of other brands I've never heard of. It seems like it's got a lot of content to offer with over 100 different bowling alleys and dozens of pro bowlers I've also never heard of. I think it's really cool that an indie developer with Farsight Studios was able to develop the official game for the PBA, so go check it out if that's your thing. Street Outlaws The List is apparently based on a TV show featuring a bunch of dudes who look really angry in all of their pictures. They race, and I quote, "From a custom street rod to a race-ready farm truck, the list contains the fastest street racing cars in Oklahoma City." Okay? It does have a bunch of Dukes of Hazzard style ramps and stunts and stuff like that. At $40 though, you should probably be a fan of this TV show or whatever the content is that's Street Outlaws, I guess, if you want to dive into this adaptation by Team 6 Games. The Park is a $10 2-hour first-person psychological horror game set in an amusement park developed by Funcom Oslo. After a series of freak accidents, you, a mother named Lorraine, somehow went to the haunted amusement park, and like an idiot, you brought your son with you, who has now disappeared, and now you must find him in a theme park full of panic and paranoia. Way to go, Lorraine. Skullgirls Second Encore also releases on the 22nd for $24.99 and is the third sequel in this fighting game franchise based on the Skullgirls anime. The game is published by Skybound Games and is a very well-loved franchise, so much so that it is currently holding one of the coveted 10 spots in the fighting game competition EVO. Tangled Tower is a really cool-looking adventure puzzle mystery about a murder featuring a fully voiced cast and a unique hand-drawn art style. The music, animation, and themes in this game are really clever and very charming. I love the effort SFB Games have put into Tangled Tower to make it stand out in such a crowded genre, especially on the Switch. You can pick up Tangled Tower on October 22nd for $19.99. For $14.99, you can get your hands on Day and Night, a fun twist on the falling block puzzle formula developed by Ridiculous Games. You'll battle a CPU or other players as the seasons and time of day continue to change throughout each level, which alters the formula of what you need to do to clear the blocks. Looks really cool. Raging Loop is another psychological horror game with the least original premise I think I've ever heard. Get this. You're in a secluded Japanese village surrounded by mist, of course, and the ancient gods have returned to feast on the villagers, so now you have to escape alive, right? How many movies have that exact premise? It's developed by Kemco and published by P-Cube, and this first-person visual novel will set you back $30. Moving ahead to October 24th, we're kicking off with a game that really knows how to speak my language. Vortex Attack EX, $10, Kaleido Games. It's a fast-paced arcade shooter that mixes a few different aspects from Galaga, Geometry Wars, and other more stationary, non-scrolling shooters. I love the different art styles they have. Sometimes it looks like a bright 80s style neon, and sometimes it's future retro with film grain. It's all over the place. Vortex Attack EX is probably ending up on my pick of the week list if you're up for trying something new. And as it is fall, we're getting close to winter, and we're nearing a Winter Olympics, which means we're about to get a slew of winter sports games. And what better place to start with games about winter sports games than with Winter Sports Games? Yep, that's the name. Winter Sports Games is $25, developed by Join Dots, and it doesn't look good at all. Sorry, Winter Sports Games. You're not the Winter Sports Games I'm looking for to get my Winter Sports Games fix this winter. Sports games. Stop everything! Did you know we're getting a brand new game from Image and Form this week? I swear I keep up with them. Why haven't I seen anything about this? That's right. From the creators of the spectacular SteamWorld series, we get Anthill, another $10 title, and it mixes tower defense with light real-time strategy mechanics as you are the leader of an army of ants defending your anthill and the queen. I need to research a little more to see if this is some kind of port job by Image and Form, but otherwise, I give that developer my undivided loyalty, and so far, I've loved everything Image and Form has released, so Anthill is going on my wish list for sure. Do you remember at the top of the episode where we talked about that spooky game that was like this pixelated jump scare fest about a kid fighting off evil things in his room that pop up in the middle of the night when he's all alone? Well, we've got another one of those exact games, and it's called Dark Veer by Forever Entertainment. It is literally the exact same thing. It looks like a slightly cheaper version of that game that we just talked about at the top of the episode, but it has a lot less color, a lot less pixels, a lot fewer pixels, and a $4 price tag. Now, I suppose I should have pulled someone else in for some of these October episodes, since I don't do the spookies, but this is one I can get behind. Haunted Halloween 86 is a retro side-scrolling beat-em-up by Retrotainment Studios for $10, and it has you brawling your way through the undead and other monsters in 7 levels you'd expect to see from any horror fiction type movie, and the music for the game is great. And then continuing our spooky trend is an even darker game by Hibernian Workshop for $20 called Dark Devotion. In this side-scrolling Dark Souls-like title, you'll choose your character from various combat types and explore a dark underground lair with a complex and rich storyline that includes dynamic combat full of parries, blocks, and all kinds of stuff that will make sure that each encounter and each battle is unique and challenging. Okay, so this next one, I'm not entirely sure what it's called. It could be called Circle Times Logic Puzzle 1000, or it could be Ox Logic Puzzle 1000, or it could be O times Logic Puzzle 1000. Sorry, it's all in capital letters. I have no idea what this game is called because the name is so bizarre. But it is a $14 puzzle game from Success! Also in capital letters. This is some kind of mix between Sudoku and Picross where you fill a board with X's and O's, or crosses for the PlayStation fans. And at $14, it seems wildly overpriced, regardless of what the name is. But from the beloved Japanese indie publisher East Asia Soft and developed by HughCast Games, we get Ghostblade HD for $12. Ghostblade is a bullet hell top-down shooter for 1 or 2 players with multiple play modes, huge bosses, and an in-game achievement system. Yay! All of that with a style that mimics the best of 90s bullet hell shmups. Creepy Brawlers immediately makes me think of the toys from the 90s Creepy Crawlers and their commercial theme song, Creepy Crawlers!
Creepy crawlers! They're squirmy and wormy and purple and green, the grossest little creatures that you've ever seen. Creepy crawlers!
But this isn't a game where you cook goop in a light bulb oven that turns into translucent scorpions. No, this is a $5 boxing game from Mega Cat Studios that is basically an alternate world Punch-Out where you're battling demons and other beings from the underworld, and it looks pretty cool. If you're into city builder games like Civilization, take note here. Lethis, Path of Progress by Triskel Interactive and published by our friends at Plug-in Digital is a classic city and world building simulator set in a fantastically imagined Victorian steampunk world called Lethis. Harnessing compressed steam, building zeppelins, and expanding across the continent is the name of the game for $17.99, and with maps that can get huge, gorgeous pixel art, and an excellent soundtrack, plus sandbox modes in addition to a lengthy campaign, there's a lot to love in the world of Lethis for anybody who is a fan of these city and civ builder series. But you know what I love more than building steampunk worlds? Cats. About 2 weeks ago, I received a Steam code for CatQuest 2, the sequel to CatQuest, developed by the Gentle Bros, 2 guys who carry the majority of the development for both titles, and might I say are just swell dudes to chat with. They made one of my favorite games of 2017, and CatQuest is a game I have continuously recommended here on Nindie Nation. CatQuest 2 is awesome, or as the game would say, possum. It's a top-down action RPG with simple but very well-designed RPG mechanics and quest systems. Really, you're just running around this huge overworld map, gaining quests and abilities while you slowly work your way into new unlockable areas, and it is filled with wit, charm, and more cat puns than you could ever imagine. CatQuest 1 and 2 are both excellent pick-up and play games for all ages that will put a smile on your face and are right at home on the Switch. Above the original CatQuest, the new sequel adds simultaneous 2-player, and if you don't have a second player, you get the benefit of having an AI partner alongside you who is actually well-directed, and since you can swap between the two of them at any time, it helps in more ways than one because you have basically an extra life bar, you have extra inventory slots, and can allow for things like one character having fire, the other having an ice loadout, or each character mixing melee and ranged weapons. It works really well. The world itself is massive compared to the first one. The original CatQuest took me probably 6 or so hours to complete, but I did just about everything in that game, and then went back and beat the game in New Game Plus in under 30 minutes, which was really fun to do. CatQuest 2 seems to at least double the overworld size, but with as many hidden areas as I found in the first, I bet it's even larger than it seems. Now, here's the thing, and I really hate to say this, but I need to be honest. If you've played the original CatQuest, there's not a ton that feels different here. The majority of the time I was playing the game, it barely felt different than when I was playing the first. Yes, it is bigger with a second character as well, but otherwise they look almost identical. If you played the original CatQuest but you're itching for more, absolutely pick it up. However, if, like me, you really played the mess out of the original, this one might burn you out, so you're going to have to judge for yourself if you're ready to play a lot more of the same, with, slight new improvements. All of that aside, if you haven't played CatQuest, I wholly recommend it to just about anyone who would enjoy a fun button-mashing action RPG. It is so simple and cute. If you don't like cute things, or for some terrible reason you hate cats, then yeah, it's probably not for you. But otherwise, I really do think that just about anybody would love and feel like they get their money's worth out of CatQuest 2, and it's only $15. But if you want to hold out for a while, the original CatQuest usually goes on sale for around $5 to $7, and I bet you'll see it going on sale again soon, and you know where you can look for Nindies that are on sale. And overall, that's a pretty solid list this week. We've got CatQuest 2, which I'm obviously so excited about and already loving, A Hat in Time, and who can forget Circle Times Logic Puzzle 1000? Well, maybe not that last one, but next week, we've got another stacked released list with a great new title from Dragius Games, a super interesting Contra-style run-and-gun, and plenty of spooky titles to help you enjoy Halloween. But if the digital dollars are short this week, citizens, do not fret, because we have a fantastic list of games on sale this week. With 310 titles on sale and over half of them brand new to the eShop this week, get ready, citizens. We have one hell of a sale for you. My Friend Pedro, with a brand new update that adds a ton of post-game content, is 30% off for $11.99. And we'll talk about that one in a bit, but I am loving it, and it has been the story of my week this week. Revenge of the Bird King, 98% off for 9 cents. Come on, everybody should buy that. We'll talk about that one in a bit, but it is another title that there is a Let's Play Nindies of on the YouTube channel. Saturday Morning RPG is 90% off for 99 cents and is a great RPG for people who don't like RPGs, kind of like Earthbound. I hope I don't get any hate for that. One more week for the Epsiode sale, and this week all I'll say is if you don't have Xeodrifter, it's 99 cents, and I really wish everybody would play Xeodrifter. Dead Cells is only 20% off for $19.99, but go check it out in our 7 Nindies that keep getting better with age video over on the YouTube channel, and you'll see why I think at any price Dead Cells is a great game. 20% off isn't a ton, but this one doesn't go on sale very often, so go pick it up if you haven't already. Pixel Gladiator is a game by Dragius Games that I am currently playing and I am really loving. It's launching this week for 50% off for Tree Fitty, or $3.50, and I can already say that it's going to be a title I recommend, and I'm not sure if it'll still be on sale when the podcast publishes next week. So go check it out. If it looks interesting to you, go ahead and pre-purchase it because it's worth it for $3.50. Bomb Chicken is a really fun side-scrolling platformer, puzzle game, I guess, for 50% off and is $7.50 this week, and I had a lot of fun with it, and for that price, I think it's worth it. Coffee Crisis is another title that goes on sale all the time, but it's a really fun top-down brawler, I guess you could say. It's got an awesome metal soundtrack. Basically, the game is all about metal and coffee. It is currently 90% off for 99 cents, another one that you just have to get if you're even remotely interested in it. Also, Death Road to Canada, a really interesting post-apocalyptic Oregon Trail type of game, is 40% off for $8.99, and it is very unique. I suggest you go look it up online. It's a roguelike, but also something like Oregon Trail with zombies. It's got a great sense of humor to it, and it's otherwise really hard to explain, but I do recommend it for $9. Machinarium is one of the very few point-and-click puzzle games that I like, and I've played it a lot ever since I picked it up on the Vita years ago, and it is currently 50% off for $4.99. And finally, Hive Jump is 90% off for 99 cents, and it's an interesting pseudo-roguelike Contra-style game. I've only played a little bit of it. I picked it up as an impulse buy because of the sale, so maybe don't take that as a recommendation yet, more so that I picked it up for 99 cents, and I think it's good, but I really haven't spent enough time with it yet. Overall, I'm really happy with this week. I feel like the last couple of weeks were a bit slow, and while there's a ton of spooky titles I won't be playing, I know 'tis the season for the spookies, and I hope you're able to find some that you like. What are you picking up? What else should be on the YouTube channel that currently isn't already represented? Let me know on Twitter @NindieNation and join the Facebook group, which continues to grow and is a great way for longer form conversations. There are a couple of you who occasionally provide feedback through the Facebook page, and I want to let you know that I really appreciate all of it, whether it's compliments, thoughts, or constructive criticism. I appreciate it all. And speaking of the YouTube channel, don't forget to pop on over there and see the new Let's Play Nindies for Ape Out, and let me know if you like the different, shorter style. And if you could share it, that would be much appreciated, as it is frankly underperforming compared to our last couple of videos. While you're there, check out the We Love Nindies series and do all the like, subscribe, share things that real YouTubers always ask their audience to do. If you just love Nintendo but get plenty of the indie content here, thank you. Head on over to the rest of the Nintendo Village and check out their articles, reviews, and other shows. The group just returned from EGX in London and have published a ton of great content from Gamescom a couple of weeks ago. So go check out what they've been putting out and support the team at thenintendovillage.com. All right, citizens, you got your marching orders, videos to watch, content to read, Nindies to buy, and Nindies to play. Thank you so much for listening, sharing, watching, and just being a part of the Nindie Nation, your one-stop shop for everything independently developed for the Nintendo Switch. I'm Jeff, and you're always welcome to keep up the conversation on Twitter @NindieNation. We'll be back next week with another jam-packed episode from deep within the busy fall release season, but until then, with all of the great games we discussed this week, I know you've got plenty to keep your Joy-Cons synced.